It's Spoilerin time, and if you're wondering why you can't see me on the video, it's because while I'm at CES 2019, my hotel is in the past, internet-wise. So apologies for that, but audio people, you don't even know. So I don't even know why I mentioned it to you. We are going to spoil Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, Season 2, Episode 4, Counterpart, Season 2, Episode 3. I'm Tom Merritt, Brian Brushwood. Mulango's here, too.
Yeah, Mulango's here just long enough. You didn't watch any of the shows, but he is long enough to get his face rubbed in the Winter Movie Draft. Tom,
Brian.
What is going on here? This is the weirdest.
For the 12th straight week, I can say I'm very happy to be in first place for the last time.
I know, but I think you might actually win this thing.
I mean, it would be crazy if I did. I am $6,000 in front of you.
Here's the crazy part.
No reason you shouldn't catch me. Vice has Oscar buzz. It has to make $6,000 in the next week. You have to be
$6 million. $6 million. Big difference.
Big difference.
Oh, sorry, $6 million. Yeah.
But also,
same thing.
Also, here's the weird part, Tom. Not only do I think you're going to win, but I think the difference will be welcome to Marwin with $10 million.
If it's 6 million, I don't know why I kept saying 6,000. If it is 6 million, welcome to Marwin would be the difference at 10,406,000. Yeah.
So, for me, I'm in trouble because Holmes and Watson took a big old dump at the box office. The only reason that you and I are not in second and third place is because, man, I'm still just so shocked that Spider-Man has only made $133 million. That is, for the quality of that movie, it is just astonishing.
And everyone's talking about how, it's not like a secret, right? Like, it's out there in the world, like Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, best movie you got to see, but it's animated. And a lot of people just can't get past that prejudice of like, yeah, but it's animated. How good could it really be? Well, guess what? It's really good, but don't go see it because then John Trekker will win.
Right. Well, those are our excuses. What's yours, Mulango?
Hey, we're not in last place, so yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same old with the winter draft, right? It's just some people just don't come out as much, I guess.
Well,
I'm
here's
surprised
the thing.
with.
Nutcracker disappointed, but you got 158 million out of Fantastic Beasts. You got 138 million out of Mary Poppins Returns. You just didn't have enough movies.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
So we are waiting. Everything will be determined by John Trekker's next two releases, Glass on the 18th and Serenity on the 25th.
Are you guys not worried about Glass? I mean, I know 100 million, so we're saying.
Yeah. The only reason I'm less worried is because it's January, right? And you just don't get as much gross in January. But if anything could pull off 110 million, it might be Glass.
Can I tell you? Every time I've been in the movie theater and they're pushing Glass hard on the promotion, it is never landing with any of the audiences that I've been with, really? Because Glass is only exciting if you had the surprise of Unbreakable and the surprise of Split, and if you already know what they are, and yet they're just marketing it with a fairly big, I don't know what they're fairly big plot points right out in front.
Superheroes are real. Yeah.
But like with that being the case, I don't know. I think it's really gonna tank I think it'll be good, and I think that longtime fans will really dig it, but I don't know. I
know why they're probably doing that? Because that makes it look like an X-Men movie and not like a drama, psychological Shyamalan movie.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Which might be the right play, though. If you tell people M. Night Shyamalan made a superhero movie with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, the question is, if you're talking about gross, then yes, spend all the money to trick everybody to get in. If you're talking about profitability, would I spend $100 million extra after the movie's been made to push it the way that they're pushing? I don't know that they'll see more than $100 million come out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point, because I think the first couple trailers back like early last year, it was more of a psychological type thriller type thing. Like, we knew it was the third movie, but I think they were playing it more of like, oh, these people are crazy, and it's like now it does seem more of just like a superhero type. That's
But
very interesting.
I think Brian's absolutely right that there's a bump to get over for people like, oh, but I haven't seen both the other movies,
right?
So I'm not going to see this because it's too complicated.
Right. Which so you have, but that means you have to frame it as like an easy to understand thing, right?
Whether it is or it isn't. You're gonna have to tell a simple story.
I mean, how well did Unbreakable or Split do? I don't know the number, but probably honestly, not.
Just don't go see it, people.
Go watch Welcome to Marwen for a second time.
Welcome to Marwen is a safe bet.
It's got that guy from The Office.
I will say, just real quick, one point that I thought was interesting. I always think, like, if you can get an animated movie, that usually kind of bumps you. And I would say, like, this is the first time where I don't think an animated movie really held up that well.
Well, because it's not a kids animated movie. I think that's the thing. Like, even though it's perfectly okay for kids to go to, it's not seen as like a Toy Story or something like that, right? It's seen as a mainstream Marvel movie, but it's animated. And I think in a lot of people's mind, even if it's subconscious, they think, oh, so it's not really a Marvel movie. It's supposed to be a Marvel movie, but it's animated.
But even the
Grinch,
that's a wrong thing.
The Grinch was the #3 buy in the entire box office, and they timed the release of that just right. They did the marketing just right. Regardless of how well it did with the critics or even the opinions of audiences, that thing has been a behemoth. That thing has half again the money that Ralph Breaks the Internet made. So, like, wrap your mind around that.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's interesting.
Well, Mulango, thanks for hanging around to talk movie draft with us. And I hope you'll continue, you and Christy, to come back and represent Team Cordkillers in the movie draft.
Yeah, we have some coaches that we have to clear out. You know, we're going to clear out the whole staff and really start fresh, come out with a new game plan. I think it's going to be our year.
Man, and the Steelers commiserate together.
Somebody has been taking notes at all these press conferences. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
All right, see you guys.
Take care. All right, let's move on and start talking about some spoilers with Counterpart, where, Brian, I was very excited that we saw a flash of the origin. I'm probably more into origin stories than most people, because I think a lot of people are sort of tired of them. But I got really excited just at the idea of being able to see, like, oh, they're the people who invented this. That I want to see that. I want to see how it came about.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm so mistrustful of everything anybody says in this world that it's like, even if they say, yeah, no, we definitely have incontrovertible proof that they created a disease that one side attacked the other. I number one wouldn't put it past them to just undo that and say, no, that's just a piece of paper. You think we can make a disease? And then
I'm more excited about how the worlds got split. I don't care about the disease as much. You're right, probably right about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then that part is a lot more interesting. Hey, am I the only one a little bit tired of watching Howard just get crap shoveled in his face for two seasons?
It seems like he might get out of there. Maybe the doors were left unlocked, right? Like, so finally. But yeah, I'm tired of that, and I'm tired of seeing alternate Quail just talk about how he wishes he was important. I wish he was too.
I thought that's okay. I feel like Quail.
Yeah, but I thought it was okay, but it's the same thing as Howard Prime. It's like, okay, we're seeing the same thing every week. We got to get out of this trend.
I do like that idea that there's value in sniveling cowardly Quail talking about his dreams and ambitions. It's as though he's the stripped away naked id of the Quail on our side, right?
Yeah, because we always think Quail on our side is only in the position because of luck. And that's kind of proven by his alternate.
Well, not just luck, but of manipulation. To put a stop me if you've heard this before. Somebody who's soft and manipulatable into a position of authority by under the manipulations of a foreign power. I liked all that. I thought that was pretty good. It did bum me out. I don't know how much more I'm expecting there to be in what's the name of the place? Echo or Niner or Foxtrot
Echo,
or something?
That's right. Echo.
Yeah. I want there to be more there, but I don't know what it is I'm hoping for there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think there is going to be more, but I think the revelation that Zephram Cochrane invented was on the team that invented the split is the cool thing you're going to get out of Echo.
I am so glad you said Zephyr Cochrane, because that's all I could think of. That and him saying "That'll do, pig."
Yeah, it's kind of hard for him to break type at this point, I guess. But yeah, I think he's doing a fine job as that. And like I said, I'm just going to keep beating that drum. I'm really excited about the flashback. It's like I want to see that point when suddenly they flip a switch and there's another side of the room, and that side of the room has them on it, and they're like, what are we doing here? Or however they decide to show it.
I was not a fan of how clumsy and chaotic things got before we got there, but it felt really good to have that moment when they realized just how screwed Quail and his spy wife, like they just realized how screwed they were, and then the knock at the door, and then it's like, hey, it's me, the third character. Now, finally, you can stop wondering where things are headed, because we're going to get Lambert. That's the story.
Yeah. Well, and I it felt like a little bit of spinning the wheels, like you said, getting to the point where Lambert got killed. But hey, Lambert got killed, and now Claire's cover is blown, and now finally we can move forward. We're done with the tension. I think one of the reasons I like watching Asian dramas a lot, especially the Korean makjang types, is
that was quite a hard left right there. Keep going though.
Stay with me. Be patient. One of the reasons I like them is because they dispense with tension. They're like, let's just give you the fun parts. Let's just move from one ridiculous thing to another. And I know that's not necessarily substantive and not good for me. It's like eating ice cream, but it's really fun. And sometimes these shows like Counterpart, which are definitely inarguably better stories, I do get impatient when they spend a little too much time building up that tension.
Yeah. But regardless, still really digging it. Still love the parallels. I do get frustrated, and this is more of a I guess it makes sense. How I dug it when during season 1 you could kind of get a sense of where you were, not just from the architecture, but from the level of technology everyone had. But then we started seeing increasingly futuristic, crazy technology. Like when they first went to Echo, you're seeing like, I don't know, what look almost like holo displays and brain scans and stuff that, it sort of broke down that East Germany, West Germany technology dichotomy. And it reduced my... I really dug the idea that the reason that everyone's working on Apple IICs is because you flash freeze the technology because you don't want to tip your hand to the other. But then I think like, well, but if people are getting visas and going to the other side on legitimate business, aren't they getting all the technology from both sides anyway?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like saying, somebody from one country visits the U.S. and why doesn't that other country now have everything the U.S. has?
Fair enough.
Vice versa. It's seeing it is different than being able to manufacture it. And I do like the idea that innovation would happen in different areas when the two sides are mostly separated like that. So while one side might not be as advanced in phones, they might be really advanced in some other thing that we aren't advanced in.
Yeah, agreed. Anyway, still very much enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. Right. Let's talk about Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Now, this is the 4th episode of season 2, The House Within a House. Events begin to connect in Bergsburg, especially related to the old Cardenas house, says Wikipedia, which is a horribly insufficient description for the fact that Dirk slides down to a slide into an alternate house filled with a purple people eater and all kinds of other weird stuff. And has to figure out that you jump through the static to get out of it. And that leads them to tear off the wallpaper and discover a map of whatever the strange other country that we've been teased about is.
Full disclosure, I have the last 10 minutes to watch, so I don't think I got to the part where they pulled back the wallpaper, but it did feel very clear to me that they were doing that sort of a Twilight Zone, the movie kind of thing. Like it felt to me like very clearly we were looking at the mental construct of a gifted psychic child or something, and that the entire fantasy realm with all of the terrible, like they're leaning so heavily into all the bad names. What was it? Triangle Battyville is the guy's name.
Yeah.
like it feels to me if they didn't outright say it by the end of this episode. It feels like we're headed towards, all of this is in the mind of this gifted psychic kid.
Yeah. And the part where where they find the map definitely underlines that, right? Because it's the scrawling of a child with the moon and the forest and all the things that we've seen that are weird in Windemore. That's what it's called. That it's going to say, like, yes, this is a child's imagination land, and the mystery is which child is it? One of the Cardenas kids, and how do we find that? And how do we figure it out? What's the connection? Why are people from there coming here? And how did Amanda and Vogel end up there?
Yeah.
Because they're in a motel room about to get shot, and then the next time we see them, they're in a cage in Windemore.
Yeah, they there was also, they're in the cage in Windemore, and there's that one dude who's explaining that he's the exiled prince or whatever. That felt to me like possibly telegraphing that that's the character projecting himself into that situation.
Yeah, potentially that's the Cardenas kid or whoever is imagining this. That's a good call.
We also got hints of an epic wizard battle, which as expressed purely through flashing lights in what I think of as a trailer home. Did they go back and finish up
the
that?
Lady? Yeah.
Yeah. Did they finish where that went?
Nope.
Okay.
Susie, you don't know what's going to happen with Susie and him. That's coming next episode.
I did love how ridiculous the police work was.
Oh yeah.
on the four piles of ash where they clearly identified the jewelry in each pile of ash, but the husband keeps saying, "Why would all four of them leave at once and put their jewelry in these 4 piles of dirt?" Like that was so painting it red that I kind of deeply adored it.
And then we have the fact that Amanda's disease actually manifests visibly in Windemore.
Yep.
To the point where she can use it to cast spells. Well, not cast spells, but like shoot people with lightning.
That would track if it's a realm of the imagination and the disease manifests itself as, imagined events and disasters, then I think I'm on board with all of that in internal logic. I'll tell you this much. As much as I enjoyed feeling cast completely adrift at the beginning of this season, I'm already enjoying feeling the gravity well bring me back to Earth. And at this point, I trust the story to land it and have everything make sense again. And of course, in an alternate timeline where the series kept on going, I'm sure the very last episode of this season would tear everything asunder with another new set of mysteries.
And send us off on a new fun adventure. Yeah, that seemed to be the pattern they were after. By the way, the next episode that we're going to watch, Shapes and Colors, was written by Max Landis. Max Landis wrote the season opener. He wrote this next episode, and then he co-wrote the last 2 episodes. So I feel like this next episode is definitely going to be the pivot point. It's going to be the central point since he wanted to write it.
Also, I'm totally falling in love with the entire police department in that small town. Those two are just the best. Like every second they're on, both the chaotic sideways energy of I've forgotten her name, but the deputy, but also the sincerity of the sheriff who's just trying to support and go with everything and actually groks it. I just adore it. It's such a refreshing twist on all of the tropes that we've seen before.
By the way, the sheriff's name is Sherlock. Sherlock Hobbs.
Every time they say it, I keep thinking they're mocking him, and then I wonder.
And the deputy apparently is named Tina Tavatino.
Got it.
Because she's Italian, I would guess, or is supposed to be. Anyway, that's it for Dirk Gently. Any other thoughts on that?
No, man. I'll tell you what, I'm liking it so much more. Watching the first season, I didn't feel a deep affinity for it, but I would say the second season much better than the first. And now I'm feeling that creeping frustration that it didn't get continued.
Yeah. And I think you need the first to kind of build up your attachment to Todd and Dirk, particularly, even Farrah and Amanda, those characters. And that helps make the second season work even better. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget, you get these episodes early. If you're a Patreon, go check it out. You can get a RSS feed right out of your Patreon that gives you both Cordkillers and Spoilerin time. And you can find that at patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll spoil you again next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.